Hello, TikTok and YouTube. I meant to change the title to Emotional Intelligence. Can I do that while I'm in here? No. All right, we'll wait. Good morning, good morning. Is Anthony still awake? Let's see. Yes, he's online. Hi. Good morning, Jason. How are you doing? Just waiting to see if Anthony's going to come on, because he and I were chatting a little bit before, and he has something for us to talk about. I'm doing great, thank you. I have been working on my new job in Excel. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to... you like math, right, Jason? Do you use Excel very much? I've been trying to write a macro that uses a tool pack, but it's an external tool pack. So the tool pack is by a company called Frontier. It's not an Excel one, so I can't figure out if I'm able to access it through VBA. I feel like I should be able to, but I can't. Anyway, so I spent 2 hours trying to do that this morning. I could not figure it out. And so I've posted my question on Quora. I'm hoping some expert in Excel is going to get back to me and let me know if I can do that. Well, if you want to go into a career or a job that uses math, I recommend getting into Excel. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. My gosh, I enjoy Excel so much. Right, I sent the live to Anthony. I don't know if he's going to come, but if I see him pop in, I'll change the subject, because I wanted to talk a little bit about emotional intelligence, as usual, but from a bit of a different perspective. I saw this on LinkedIn this morning, and it was posted from a different perspective, a perspective of one of the skills that you should master in life that was really going to help you is not letting other people's opinions affect you, right? Oh, my son's porridge is here. I really want to eat it. I might just finish his porridge. I'm eating Baby Bear's porridge with the baby spoon. Chocolate porridge, though. Yeah. So one of the skills that you can work on through life that will help you build your... No, I don't today. I've got a... Here, whenever you go to an event, like a wedding, this was a wedding, or a birthday party, you usually get a cup to take home. So this was for Patty and Nando, their wedding. Oh my God, that was a year ago. 20th of May, a year ago. That's crazy. No Peppa Pig cups today. Hello on the bridal. Welcome, welcome. I am going to talk about emotional intelligence in just a second, once I finish eating the chocolate porridge. Right, I'll stop. Hello, Ireland. I didn't know you were in Ireland. I'm not sure where I thought you were from. So, one of the most important skills that you can work on that will help you in life is obviously your emotional intelligence, but another way of looking at it is not letting what other people say affect you, right? And this is something that I talk about quite a lot from a perspective of whenever somebody asks me a question about how to deal with other people, and I talk about how you can never really know somebody else thoroughly. You can never really know all of their past experiences, all of their opinions, their judgments, whatever. And this is a build on from that. So when somebody says something, and I find this with Brazilians a little bit, so I actually made a video about this just now for TikTok. And so I don't eat a lot of red meat. I just don't like it. I'm not a vegetarian. I eat fish, I eat chicken, I eat bacon, but I don't really eat like steak and red meat like that. And Brazilians love it. Brazilians use red meat in a lot of their snacks, a lot of their meals, a lot of their food, right? And so often when I go to people's houses, particularly for lunch, they've got a lot of food there, and a lot of it is red meat, and I don't want to eat it. And people get really offended here if I don't want to eat the food that they cooked, right? And I suppose that's not really just a Brazilian thing, is it? Like that probably happens everywhere. But it's not just when you go for lunch. Like even if you just go hang out at somebody's house, they will offer you a snack, and the snack will obviously be like a red meat base, right? Because it's just what they eat here. And people get really offended if I say no. And I haven't come across any other vegetarians in Brazil where I live. I'm sure there are some somewhere, but in my experience, most Brazilians eat red meat all the time. And then they get really offended when I don't want to eat their red meat. And often it will come up afterwards, like I'm in the WhatsApp group and I'll see them talking about, Eleanor's not eating, she didn't like my food, getting upset about it, right? Like after the fact, after I've left. So I don't know why that one got filtered. What happens when you say you don't? They try to persuade me to. Like they don't want to just be like, okay. It's like, no, you have to eat. Like, here you go, I made it, eat some. They'll like put it on my plate. Like sometimes I just eat it a little bit to be polite. But yeah, like they're quite forceful with it. They really want you to eat the food that they made. And like I'll just try and eat around it. Like I'll eat the rice, I'll eat the beans, I'll eat the vegetables. If there's chicken stuff, I'll eat the chicken stuff. I just don't like red meat. I just don't like it. And they will do their best to make sure that I eat it. It's like a grandma thing, I guess, like how grandmas always seem to want you to eat. And then afterwards, they'll still have a problem, right? And sometimes it can affect my relationship with like my husband's family because they're not understanding that I just don't like meat, and they are taking it offensively. They're taking it like I'm offending them, and this is a choice that they are making. And we do this all the time. So when somebody says something to us, we choose how to interpret it, right? And we interpret what they're saying based on our own past experiences, our own thoughts, our own opinions, our own judgments, our judgments about ourselves and our judgments about the other person. So we choose what we're going to get offended by. Oh, another great example is when Christina was on here, was it last week? And she called me young lady, right? And I got really offended on the live. And she messaged me afterwards, just like what was all that about? And I was like, and I was still thinking that it was her, right? I was like, it's you're the problem, you're being rude to me. And she's like, no, I'm not being rude to you. I call everybody young lady or young man if they're younger than me. And I was like, oh, I thought you were being condescending. I took offense to what you said, and I had to go away and like deal with my own feelings around that. Because I chose to be offended by that comment. And the reason I chose to be offended by the comment of young lady is because I have a problem where I think I look younger than I am. And so I think people don't take me seriously because of that. And it also, when I was younger, I'm blonde, right? I'm always blonde. I'm also quite like silly and giggly, and I'm smart. But I always felt like people didn't think I was smart because I'm blonde and silly and giggly. And so I always felt like I had this point to prove, right? I always felt like I had to prove myself to people. I had to prove that I'm not stupid. And that's that's kind of transpired into this me getting offended when people call me young, instead of like, if anybody else was like 40 years old and kept getting called young, anybody else could choose to be like really pleased about that, really like, oh great, I look young, that's awesome, you know. But I'm choosing to get offended by it, and so we can choose whether we get offended by something, and we can choose not to. And one of the most, like when someone cussed you out, yeah, like when someone cusses you out, exactly. In fact, Jason, you were probably here when there was somebody came on one of my lives and kept talking about my nose. I don't know if you were here or not. They kept talking about my nose, saying that I had like a big nose. And if I thought I had a big nose, if I had a problem with my nose, I would get really offended by that. But I don't have a problem with my nose. I know I don't have a big nose. I think my nose is perfect for my face. So it didn't offend me, right? But it's how I feel about myself that dictates whether I get offended by somebody else's comments or not. It's not necessarily what they say. It's how I understand what they say. It's how I relate to what they say. So if someone were to call me fat, I would be like, no, I'm not, you idiot. Whereas if I had a problem with my own weight, if I thought that I was fat and somebody called me fat, I would probably be in tears for the rest of the day. And that's what I mean when I talk about controlling your reactions to what other people say. And that if you work on this habit and you're able to, I don't mean like ignore people when they're talking to you, but if you can take what they're saying at face value and not read into it and get offended by it and judge it, then you can understand the other person better, and you can protect your own vibes, your own energy, right? Sometimes if you're not and someone says you are, it can sometimes make you think, like if you're not fat and someone says you're, exactly, right? And that again says something about you. So maybe I don't think I'm fat at the moment, but maybe I used to think I was fat. And maybe I've gone on a weight loss journey and now I'm at a place where I'm like, you know, oh, I'm good now I'm skinny. And then someone comes and calls me fat and I'm like, oh no, I'm not skinny, you know? Like it brings back all of those thoughts that I used to have when I was fat. I was never fat, but it's the same. Like, so for me, as you guys know, I have a problem with my skin. So when people come to me, like my daughter, my God, she knows how to push my buttons. She keeps coming to me now every day and being like, Mummy, why do you have so many spots? And like, I don't even have spots. Like, I've got a little spot here, a little one there, but like, I don't really have spots at the moment. And she's saying this to me every day. And so I'm seeing it as an opportunity to work on my reaction to when people say something about my skin, because I used to try and think, my husband's mother says a lot of really annoying stuff all the time. So let's say, for example, she's always telling us that when my son, when he cries, we need to like go to him and cuddle him and like be like, oh, you poor thing, right? Because that's what she does. And I do that. I feel like I do that. Right? I try to do that when he's upset. I try to comfort him. It's a bit of a pain point between my husband and I, because my husband leans more to, when he's being crying and annoying, we should tell him that's not okay so that he doesn't keep doing it. So he comes at it from a point of like, let's teach him that the right thing is not to cry and get upset. And I come at it from a perspective of, he's crying and upset, he just wants a hug. And so he and I disagree on that. And so it's a pain point for us. And so then when my mother-in-law brings it up and she says to me, oh, he's sad, you need to go cuddle him, I get a bit offended sometimes. I'm like, I do. Like, this is my position in this argument. I do go cuddle him. Why are you saying that to me? Do you think I don't go cuddle him? Right? Because me and my husband disagree on this. So it's a pain point for us. If he and I agreed on it and we both went to cuddle our son whenever he was crying and his mum said that to me, I would probably just be like, yeah, I do. And that's the end of that. Carry on. Rather than questioning myself. So this is the second part of it. The first part is you can never really know the intent behind what the other person is saying. You don't know if they're dealing with their own battles and wounds. You don't know if they've had a problem with this thing before and they're kind of projecting it out onto you. You don't know if they've just had a bad day and so they just want to like get a reaction out of somebody else, try and ruin somebody else's day, because people do that. The other part of it is trusting yourself. Trusting yourself, believing in your own opinion, believing in your own worth, believing in your own value, because you choose how you act, right? You choose your reaction to whether you're going to be offended or not, and you can protect your own well-being. You can protect your own mental health by choosing not to react. And it's about trusting yourself. So in the example that I just gave about my husband's mum, when she says, oh, you need to cuddle him when he cries. And if I just trusted myself, I could be like, I do. I know I do. I trust that in myself that I do that, rather than me questioning myself and saying, am I not doing it enough? Am I not doing it quick enough? Are there occasions when I could be doing that and I'm not doing it? Rather than questioning myself, I can just be secure and value my own opinion, like, no, I'm doing it, I'm doing the right thing. And as parents, that happens a lot. Like parents second guessing what they do with their kids. So it's natural. We all do it, right? We all, not necessarily the parenting thing, but we all get offended by stuff that we don't need to get offended by. So yeah, that is a habit that I suggest you guys work on. It will help you. It will help you in the long term. If anybody has questions for me, please feel free to pop them in the chat. If they are specific questions around something else, something that is holding you back in life, specific questions about intuition or emotional intelligence. Otherwise, I want to talk a little bit about self-worth, which is a problem that many people have and we don't realize that we have it. Every time I take a sip from this cup, there's another ant in there. There was one ant and then there were 2 ants and now there is 4 ants in my cup. I don't know if I should keep on drinking this water with all these ants in it. Interesting. Where the ants go to die. Oh, did I tell you guys we rescued a bird yesterday? I think it was after my live. We rescued a bird. Just going to stop my TikTok because I got a message from Pizza Hut. No. Well, I shouldn't drink the ants. I don't really believe in like germs and stuff. My husband tells me off for this all the time because he's very like aware of germs and like things going in the water and picking food up off the floor. I don't buy into that stuff. Like if I drop some yummy food on the floor, I will be picking it up and eating it. Like I don't care that it's been on the floor. Ebola what? I've heard of Ebola, but I can't remember what it is. Do ants have Ebola? So yes, self-worth. A lot of people allow themselves to be held back in life because they don't feel worthy of whatever it is they're seeking. And it's often a really deep-seated problem that you don't realise you have. So I'm going to... Isaac, you're not ready to break up. Bless you. Here you go. Have an arm hair close up. So self-worth. So self-worth can come across in multiple different areas of your life, but one particular area is in relationships. And in relationships, people jump into them without, you know the saying, like you should love yourself before you're ready to love another person, right? You're familiar with that phrase. And it's true. And many people don't love themselves before they start loving another person. And and it causes problems, and you'll often see the same problems coming up again and again and again, and that is the universe's way of trying to say, hey, you've got a problem with this. So let's take relationships, for example. I'm going to talk about one of my friends, my bestie. I love her to pieces, and she has struggled to find fulfilling relationships, and she always has the same problem. She always believes that you just followed me again. You really had unfollowed me. She always believes that the person she's with is cheating on her, right? And it's because when she was younger, her boyfriend cheated on her, like when we were really young, like 14, 15, something like that. She got cheated on. And so in every relationship that she's had since then, she has assumed that the person is going to cheat on her because that's what happened in the past. And she will drive herself crazy and her partner crazy looking for evidence of being cheated on and not trusting the other person and going through their phones and stuff. And this causes huge problems in her relationships. And again and again and again, her relationships end for the same reason. The reason being, thank you for the friendship hug, whatever that, friendship necklace. Oh, do I get it? Oh, they're not going to put it on me. It was meant to be, yes. Specifically solid things like waiting on employment. How do you stop worrying about things? Okay, how do you stop worrying about things? You stop, Jason, you just stop. So you choose your thoughts. You get to choose your thoughts. Every single person has about 60,000 thoughts that go through their head every day. And when you are waiting for news on employment, for example, a lot of the thoughts that you are going to choose to give your energy to are going to be things around like, why haven't I heard yet? Maybe they found somebody else. Maybe I'm not good enough for this. Like, if I don't get the job, I'm never going to find a job this good again, right? These thoughts, they're coming through your mind. And because you are, because this is in your mind, this is in your awareness, you're afraid, then you're going to give your energy to those thoughts. Right, you're going to give your energy to those negative thoughts about why you didn't hear back yet or whatever it is that you're worrying about. Congrats, Isaac lit up Rose in my gift gallery. Oh, thank you, Isaac. Yay. So you've got to choose where you're going to put your energy, Jason. So when these thoughts come through your brain, you can choose to just observe them and let them carry on and go away, or you can choose to invest more energy into them. So when you get a bad and negative thought that you don't want to associate with, don't think about it anymore. Just let it pass by. When you get a good thought, or you can instruct yourself to have good thoughts about this job sounds really good for me, it's really close by, I think I'm really going to enjoy it, I think I'm going to learn a lot from it, the people there seem really cool, I love that the hours are flexible, whatever it is, that's where you want to be focusing your energy and holding on to those thoughts. I've tried that, but I can't. It's an art. Like, it's not simple. It's not simple to ignore the bad thoughts and focus on the good thoughts. Sorry, I don't mean simple, I mean easy. It's not easy to do that. You have to have good emotional intelligence, right? And this is why at the beginning of the live I was talking about this skill of emotional intelligence, this skill of not allowing what people say to affect you, but also not allowing what you say to yourself, because your thoughts, like, you don't control all of them. You control which ones you invest your energy into. You don't necessarily control all of the thoughts that come in. Like, you can control them when you're purposely trying to, right? But when you're not trying to, all kinds of crazy stuff comes through here, right? All kinds of crazy stuff. Thank you so much for the white roses. God, it's good to have you back, Isaac. And Borges, thank you so much. So you can't control all of the thoughts that come through your mind, but you can control where you put your energy and which ones you put your energy into. So when you're struggling to ignore the bad thoughts and focus your attention on the good thoughts, then what you're going to need to do is try and let go of the fear behind why those thoughts are triggering you. So what I mean when I say that is you're worrying about not getting this job, okay? Where is the worry coming from? Why are you worried about it? What in your experience is bad if you don't get it? So like if you don't get it, you won't have money. Or if you don't get it, then you're afraid you'll never get another job. Or you just really want it and you're just like afraid that you won't get it when you really, really want it. Like, where is the fear coming from? Because if you can pin down where the fear is coming from, then it will help you bring awareness to the kinds of thoughts that are having you worry, and you can change your reaction to them. So it's like I always say, there's always two routes you can go down. One route is figuring out where it came from to empower you to let it go. And another one is to just let it go without knowing where it came from. So if you're struggling to let it go without knowing where it came from, try and figure out where it came from. But what's the first thing that comes to your mind, Jason? Like when I say, why are you worried about not having heard from the job? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Like, what are you worrying about? Hello, successful, welcome back. What are you worrying about? What are the thoughts that have a hold on you? You want to come up, Cherry? The dog's inviting herself up. Here we go. Gonna do some mouth breathing at me, as usual. Yeah. Stinky thing. About if you don't get it, okay? What about if you don't get it? What about if you don't get it? Is it a money thing? Is it a self-worth thing? Do you think if you don't get it, that says something about you, that you're not good enough? Oh, this is the problem with trying to coach on TikTok Lives, because it takes so long for you guys to type the answers. I'm really excited for the group coaching call on Saturday. Guys, if you haven't heard me talk about the group coaching call on Saturday, there is still one spot left. Although I did just get a message from somebody that I think was messaging me about it, so there might not be. There is one spot left in the group coaching call on Saturday. And it's going to be amazing. So it's just going to be 3 people, but we're going to do it on Zoom so we can talk to each other, so we can have real-time conversations, so we can really get some powerful guidance for you to move through your limitations. Most of them. Damn, what was the question I asked? I said, why are you worried about if you don't get it? Most of what? Most of the jobs? Like, you're worried if you won't get most of the jobs? There's something within... Right, okay, here we go. Financial, self-worth, okay, and something else. Reasons, right, okay, gotcha. Okay, so there's lots of reasons that you're afraid. And presumably this is because, like, you're still in school, right? So you don't have probably a long, like, career thus far. So you don't have that confidence that you are worth it. Okay, so the first thing to bear in mind is that if something is meant for you, it will find its way to you. It will find its way to you. So even though, you know the saying, life is what happens while we're making other plans, while we're busy making other plans. This is so true. There is a plan for you, and there is a perfect job for you out there, whether it's working for yourself or working for somebody else, whether it's in a field that you have thought about or it's in a field that you have not thought about. There is the perfect job, the perfect career out there for you. And if you're applying for roles and not getting them, that means these are not the roles that were meant for you. These are not the roles that were meant for you. And it can be really hard to stomach that in the moment, because you might think that this is the perfect role for you. This is the perfect job. I'm on a deadline by June 1st. Who imposed this deadline? What kind of deadline is this? Do you have to move by this date, or do you run out of funds by this date? Okay, I'm not going to drink that anti-water. I do have my bottle here, so. Panettone, lovely. Yes, I think the other spot for the group coaching call has just been taken. So there are no more spots for Saturday's group coaching call. Fantastic. The school aid doesn't run into summer. Okay, so money reasons. I get it. I get it. Whatever is going to happen to you is going to happen for your highest and best good. Whatever job or career is meant for you is out there, and it's coming to you. And all you have to do is be emotionally intelligent enough to understand that when something goes a different way than you thought it would go, or something happens that you didn't expect, if you don't get the job that you thought you wanted, it's part of your journey, it's part of your path, and you don't need to be afraid. And even if you don't get it figured out by June 1st, that is also part of your journey. So you were here, Jason, when I went back and I told you the whole history around my money situation, around the money struggles that I had been having, right? I'd been having so many money struggles, and I was really afraid, and I was really it was really hard for me to stay on track, to keep up the coaching, even though it hadn't been paying. But I knew that that's what I had to do, and I knew it was all part of my journey. And then after I got this data analyst role, I realized that it was so important that I had those money problems, because now I am able to coach other people through their money problems. Look, this dog's fallen asleep. Now I'm able to coach other people through their money problems, which before I hadn't been able to do, because I had never had money problems of my own. So if you don't figure something out by June 1st, Jason, then it's part of your journey. It's part of your journey. And maybe that means you have to go move somewhere else, right? To go stay with somebody. Maybe you have to go back to your parents. Maybe you have to go live with your fiance, if you propose to her by then. Maybe you have to go stay with some friends. Maybe you have to go somewhere else. And maybe that place is where you were meant to be, because that's where your dream job is. I know, they're really funny, these gifts. Ice cream cone, finger heart. I appreciate them. Hi, Carolina. Welcome. So when something happens to you that you perceive as bad, usually you can look back on it afterwards. Steve Jobs said this, I think. It's only backwards that we have 20/20 vision. You can look back and you can be like, oh my gosh, yeah, that disaster had to happen. Otherwise, I wouldn't be where I am now. Hello, my lovely. So the reason that I'm in Brazil is because I had a disaster, right? My husband's UK visa was denied. You better believe I was crying in the hairdressers for 6 straight hours while she was making me blonde, because my husband told me right when I arrived there. And for 6 hours, I was just like, yay! Oh, you actually did join my team, Isaac. We just went up to 16 members on my team. I have no idea what it means, but I'm glad I've got 16 members there. Thank you so much. So when the visa got denied, no, for 6 hours I was like doing an ugly crying face in the middle of the hairdressers, and I didn't speak any Portuguese at that point, so I couldn't tell the hairdresser what was happening. Like, they must have just thought I was crazy. But I thought it was the end of the world, and for like a month after that, because then we had to like figure out what to do. Like, my dogs were in the UK and I was in Brazil, and my stuff was already in the UK. We had flights booked to the UK because we thought we were going. We thought we were going to live there. I almost had bought a Tesla. I'd been inquiring about a Tesla because I was sure I was going to be, earning enough money to buy a Tesla. And so it was a huge disaster when the visa was denied. But now, 2 years later, I can look back on it and see that that's the best thing that could possibly have happened, because I was never meant to be in the UK. I would be so unhappy now if I was in the UK. I was meant to be in Brazil, and I was about to take myself on the wrong path, and the universe showed up and was like, no, here. So Jason, hopefully that helps with the focusing on the positive thoughts, because those negative thoughts, they're there to keep you safe, right? That's what your brain does to keep you safe. That's what your brain does to keep you in your comfort zone, and it's what society has taught us to do to keep us fearful, so that we remain in the control of those who like to control us. But if you overpower those thoughts with reminding yourself that that everything that happens to you is for your highest and best good, even when you can't see it in the moment, then you'll know that it's okay if you didn't get that job, because the job that you are going to get later is going to be better. It's going to be better for you, as long as you don't act out of desperation, right? You've got to keep following your intuition. You've got to keep doing the things that feel right. You've got to keep saying yes to opportunities, which I need an update on, Jason, by the way. Right, hello, saving up for Spark 20. I'm depressed. Okay, am I worth it? Yes, is the answer. Can you be more specific? What is it in particularly, that was bad English, what is it in particular that you're depressed about, and why? Tell me the language that you're using to keep yourself trapped in depression. Yes, I love Taylor Swift. I haven't heard her new album yet. I love her. I've been to see her twice in concert. Oh, amazing. And I dressed up as her, of course. I used to have a cat. She's got a cat called, is it called like Marmalade? And I had a cat that was the same, and she used it in some of her promotional stuff for the album, for the tour that I was going to see. So I got my cat and I did a photo shoot with myself dressed as Taylor Swift with the cat. I've said yes to a couple of things, not a lot. Okay, that's good, Jason. I'm so glad. Have you done the things yet, or were they things for the future? But this is good. I'm glad. This is progress. Saying yes to things. Well done. Saving up for Spark 20. Nobody likes me. Okay, nobody likes you. And that's what you're depressed about. So presumably this is spilling over into not having friends, not having a social life, feeling isolated and alone. Yeah, she does need to go to sleep, doesn't she, Cherry? So firstly, sorry, I forgot your name here. Saving up for Spark. Saving up for Spark. I don't know what that means. Saving up for Spark. So saving up for Spark. First thing that I'm going to tell you is to change your language, okay? This is always the first thing. Nobody likes me. You can do this in one of two ways. Either you can figure out why you think that nobody likes you, bring awareness to it and let it go, or if you can't figure out why you think nobody likes you, you can just choose to let it go anyway. So when you're trying to figure out why you think that nobody likes you, it's important to remember that this is not reality. This is your thoughts. This is the stories that you are telling yourself. The reality is not true that nobody likes you. There are people in this world that like you, whether they are your parents, whether they are your siblings, whether they are your best friends, whether they are your an ex-teacher from school, or a boss that you've had, a colleague that you've had. There are some people in this world that like you. And maybe there are some other people in this world that don't like you. Okay? But saying that nobody likes you is not true. It's not true. It cannot be. Some people like you. Okay? Now, regardless of that, regardless of what other people think, the problem lies with you and what you think. So the problem... Let's get to 100 gifts. Okay, Isaac, let's go for it. So the problem that you have, saving up for Spark, is that you don't like you. You don't like you. It's not other people the problem. You are the problem. You don't like yourself. Why is that? Why don't you like yourself? Why don't you consider yourself to be a worthy friend? Why don't you consider yourself to be a worthy partner? Why don't you consider yourself to be a worthy son, daughter, mum, dad, whatever? I don't know what gender you are. Why don't you like you? Okay? Because if you can figure out why you don't like you, then you can stop projecting that out onto other people, because that's what you're doing. So let's take an example. I'm not sure if you're still there. If you're still there, pop your answer in the chat, but I'll take an example in the meantime. I moved when I was 8 years old from the north of England to Birmingham, the middle of England, right? So when I got there, I felt very different to everybody else. I had had a really close group of friends in Sheffield. We all lived on the same street. All of our parents were best friends. We literally all lived in next door to each other, like in a row. There were like 10 of us. So I came from that environment to an environment where I was an outsider. I spoke different to everybody else. I looked different to everybody else. I dressed different to everybody else. I was an outsider. Yeah, good curry. Real good curry. I was an outsider. And that's what I was telling myself, right? I was telling myself, I'm an outsider. I don't fit in. And guess what? I did not fit in. I did not make friends. I got a little bit bullied. I spent my lunch breaks in the toilet, eating my lunch, sat on the toilet, like with the door locked. There were no locks on the doors, so with the door shut. And it was a horrible experience. My sister, on the other hand... No more gifts. My sister, on the other hand, she did the same move, right? She also moved from Sheffield to Birmingham. She also looked different, spoke different, and dressed different to everybody else. She fit in just fine. She made amazing friends that now 32 years later, she's still like best friends with. So we were both in the same circumstances, yet I was telling myself that I'm an outsider, I don't fit in, I'm different to everybody else, and she was telling herself, I'm going to go make new friends. Yay! I get to make new friends. Right? And that affected our realities, and that affected the rest of our lives, because forevermore, she's got these best friends that she made in Birmingham, and forevermore, I think of Birmingham as being a difficult place to be because I did not fit in well. So, I don't know if you're still here. But if you do, if you can figure out why you don't like yourself, what stories it is that you're telling yourself that are making you not like yourself, like whether you're telling yourself that you don't have enough money, or you're not smart enough, or this may have come from your parents when you were younger, it may have come from your teachers when you were younger. Somebody said something to you, or you thought something and invested your energy into something negative about yourself that you are carrying with you, and you are telling yourself now that you don't like yourself, and you're doing it through other people. I'm going to move on because I'm not sure if you are still there. Did you get to 100, Isaac? Yay! 100 gifts! Thank you so much, Isaac. You are so appreciated. And now you're off. Amazing. Thank you. Okay, saving up for Sparks. If you're still here, please let me know in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to move on because I can see other questions here. Do you like Tortured Poets Department? I cry a lot. Tortured Poets Society, the movie, the Robin Williams movie. I do love it, if that's the one you're talking about. I'm from Brazil. Brazil loves you. Thank you so much, Vitor. Are you of Portuguese descent? No, Andy K. My husband is Portuguese, is Brazilian, hence my last name, Meireles, which he tells me I can't say properly. So true. Good curry. I wish I could give you a healing hug. Ah, thank you, Shakronian. I love a hug. Any advice on how to improve your English quickly? Join my lives, talk to me, immerse yourself in it. Go to a place with English speaking people and go force yourself to speak English. That's how I did it. I was learning for years on an app. I didn't really get that far. I came to Brazil and then I had to learn Portuguese super fast. It's still taking me a long time because I don't fully immerse myself in it. We speak English at home. But if you want to learn it quickly, go live with people that only speak English and you will be speaking it very quickly. Jason, did you grow up in Birmingham in your 20s? No, I grew up there from age 8 to 18. So I was there for my teenage years. Then I went to Loughborough, where I went to university for 3 years. And then I moved to London for 5 years. And then I moved to Australia. Where the barbecue at? Yeah, you tell me. I like my chicken on a barbecue. I don't eat red meat. So on barbecues, in England, in the US, right, Jason, at a barbecue, you would have burgers, sausages, fish, corn on the cob, maybe potatoes, and red meat. In Brazil, it's just red meat. And garlic bread, if you're lucky. I eat a lot of garlic bread at barbecues here. Hello, Vietnam. Monkey D. Hansi, that's a funny name. Hello. If you... right, this one got blocked. Gypsum Finance. What's with the eyebrows? My eyebrows, because they're odd. My eyebrows are just odd. They're not even. They're just odd. I try if I draw them in, which I don't do very often, but I try and get them even when I draw them in. But the reality is, this one starts here, and this one ends here, and so they're just not in the same place. What can you do? What can you do? It's Taylor Swift's new album. What's Taylor Swift's new album? Monkey D. Hansi? No, what's Taylor Swift's new album? Where are you from? I'm from the UK and I live in Brazil. Would you like a free palm reading? Yeah. Can you do it on here? There's my palm. Is that Derby County? Loughborough is in Derbyshire. Yes, I think so. Pretty sure Loughborough's in Derbyshire. Yeah. How did you know that? That's weird. I can tell you are engaging, adventurous, sporty, and good at languages. Cool. I would definitely agree with the first two. Sporty, not so much. I like the gym. I can't play sports. I choose not to play sports. When I was doing sports, at school and stuff, I did singular sports that don't involve a ball. So I did dance, I did trampolining. I did do netball for a little while in junior school, but I was not the best player. But I can run really fast. I haven't run for a while. I used to run every day. And good at languages. I'm working on that one. I am good at languages. And I can be better. Pradana. Sorry, I just lost your comment. Maybe I should get a girl from US or England to improve my English quickly. Yes, That would absolutely help. My husband's English improved massively when he got together with me. Call of Duty, I don't play that. Hi. Hello. Here's the dog. Yes. Hey, Mary Lou's. What countries have you visited? I have visited a lot of countries. Okay, let me think. So Australia, New Zealand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, Bali. Bali's in Indonesia. And then the US, Mexico, Brazil, Cuba, Dominican Republic, what else is around there? Florida Keys, Jamaica. I've been to like all of the Thai islands, and then in Europe I've been to England, Ireland, France, Spain, Portugal, Germany, Austria, Italy, did I say Portugal, Greece, I think that's all off the top of my head. Guernsey, Jersey, Isle of Wight. I've been to the Cook Islands, I've been to Vanuatu, I've been to Fiji. That's all I can remember right now. It's hard to remember them all. Sounds like a Derby County place. What a weird thing, Jason. Like, I'm so impressed with that random knowledge. What is your job? Okay, this is going to be the last question because I should have closed the live 5 minutes ago. I'm just enjoying chatting with you guys too much. So last question from Pradana. What is your job? How do you earn money so you can visit many countries? Pradana, I talk about this from a coaching perspective. So I worked for 15 years in finance. It was very well paid. I'm thinking now of more countries that I've been to. Gran Canaria, Lanzarote. Right, stop now. So I worked in finance. I got paid a lot of money, and then I owned restaurants. I earned a lot when I owned restaurants. They were fine dining restaurants. They were very popular. I paid myself a lot of money. Now what I do is coaching, and I'm building up my income again from zero. It got to zero because we left Australia and we had to move to Brazil. I couldn't earn for 2 years. I tried various ways of earning online, trading crypto. I lost a lot of money. Becoming a brand ambassador, I lost a lot of money. I basically lost all of my savings. And I'm very grateful that happened because now I am building myself up again from zero. And what I do now is coaching, and I'm working on a data analysis project because my background is in finance and maths and analysis. Yes, you can watch a conversation on YouTube, definitely. I did a podcast with Veronica where I talked about a lot of this stuff. So I can send you the link to that if you want. Feel free to send me a DM and I'll send you the link for Veronica and I's podcast where I talk about all of this stuff. Okay, so I have to go. I've got to go wake up the kids and get them to school. Thank you guys. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you, On the Bridal. Thank you, Successful. Thank you for everybody that asked questions. I'm sorry for those of you that just joined. I will be back same time tomorrow. So I go live every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. EDT. In the meantime, you're welcome to join my community where I post all of my coaching content. You can reach out to me there directly for one-on-one coaching calls, coaching packages, and I'm running free monthly group coaching calls. This month's call is already booked up. All of the spots are taken, but you can apply for next month's group coaching call by putting an introduction post in the Introduce Yourself section of my community. The link is in my bio. So I'm going to be running these every month. So the one for, we're in May now, right? So the one for June is open. Still 3 spots available. You have a great day too, Veronica. Thank you, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.